Today marks 80 years since the end of World War II. On September 2nd, 1945, Japanese representatives signed surrender papers aboard the USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay. But before we get there, let's take a step back and look at Japan's role in the war to better understand how this momentous conflict came to a close. So let me set the stage. In the 1930s, Japan waged war against northern China. And then in 1940, a foreign minister from Japan announced the Greater East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere, a vision of Asian unity against Western imperialism. In practice, this meant expansion and exploitation of natural resources. The following month, Japan joined Germany and Italy in the Tripartite Pact, formalizing the Axis Alliance, and in 1941, it secured another treaty with the USSR, the Soviet-Japanese Neutrality Pact, which freed Japan to expand in China and Southeast Asia. That summer, Japan invaded French Indochina to cut supply routes to China and seize natural resources. The US response was quite decisive. It froze Japanese assets and cut off oil, and these tensions set the stage for Pearl Harbor, which on December 7th, 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, sinking 21 ships and killing over 2,000 Americans. The next day, the US declared war. By mid-1945, Japan was cornered. The Potsdam Declaration demanded unconditional surrender, but Tokyo hesitated, hoping for Soviet mediation or at least the preservation of the institution of the emperor. Instead, in August, the US dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, while the Soviets waged war on Japan. And together, these blows forced a surrender. Historians continue to debate whether the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were necessary to end the war. Many do not think so, emphasizing that the USSR's declaration of war on Japan was a decisive factor. But certainly, the dropping of nuclear weapons on Japan was partially an act of military theater. This new display of US power became a backdrop for tensions between the US and the USSR during the Cold War. On August 15th, Emperor Hirohito announced capitulation, and on September 2nd, Japan formally surrendered, ending the war. Post-war Japan underwent deep transformation. The Tokyo war crimes trials held leaders accountable, and Emperor Hirohito renounced his divinity. In 1947, a new US-backed constitution established a parliamentary government and stripped Japan of military powers, more or less. The Marshall Plan rebuilt Europe, while the 1951 Treaty of San Francisco restored Japan's sovereignty but bound it to the Western camp. Part of this treaty allowed for the continuation of US military bases across Japan, which would become a major issue leading up to the 1960 Security Treaty between Japan and the United States. This treaty caused mass protests, as many activists saw it as siding Japan too much with the United States, especially in their interests and in terms of maintaining US military base across the country. In this short overview, and of course there's more on this timeline, I showed how Japan moved from an imperial aggressor to a key US partner, its trajectory shaping not only Asia, but the balance of the entire post-war world. Later, the United States would look back on this reconstruction of Japan to hopefully inspire Iraq and Afghanistan, but the context and climate in those places meant that the same process of reconstruction was unable to work there, given that it was in the context of World War II. So today, as we reflect on the end of World War II, we can see a geopolitical landscape that was once dominated by fascist and nationalist powers seeking global spheres of influence. In our own era, as authoritarian leadership resurfaces around the world, I'm asking myself and asking you what lessons we might draw from Japan's transformation from imperial aggressor to a demilitarized liberal nation.